Does the turtle sound all right to you?
Okay, tell the sail to slow down. Okay.
Hey, Brad, don't forget to charge the Blue Fairy.
Tinkerbell, stand by. You have 10 seconds.
Who's in the centipede tonight?
Dave, let's make sure we feed the Dragon Channel 7.
How do I turn the lights on? Just like this. And what are they talking about?
It's the Main Street Electrical Parade!
Come on along with me backstage for a view that just won't quit. Bob Yanni, the man responsible for the creation of the parade, takes us back. Bob, take me back to the electrical water pageant at Walt Disney World. How did that concept come about?
Well, I think it started because as we were building Walt Disney World, I kept looking out on primarily in Bay Lake, and at that point in time, there were no horizon lights or any city lights that you normally think of in a horizon, which meant we had perfect black. I just started fantasizing about what we could do with that black, and we made a big mock-up of a whale, all in lights that we set out on the water. And I took executives at that point in time out on the boat, had no idea what they were really going to see. We said, okay, now watch. And we turned on the whale, and it caught everybody's fancy.
And then what were the steps that led from the electrical water pageant to the Main Street Electrical Parade at Disneyland?
After the water pageant opened and with the opening of Walt Disney World, at Disneyland, we really had a major problem in a couple areas. We had no nighttime business at that point in time. It really, as everyone knows it today, and also we had an enormous morale problem. The employees at Disneyland just felt like they were really working for a second cousin after Walt Disney World opened. So as we all returned home after we had created a new one, it needed something new. And I think that probably more than anything else gave birth to looking for something else.
In the original design, the parade elements were two-dimensional or flat in shape. With time, all things improved.
Yes, they were two-dimensional, and the reason for this was for readability. We weren't really sure how many lights we could put on a float at that time, and most of the units were hand-pushed or pulled down the street. Therefore, we would align the lights so you could read them from both sides of the street.
When did you go to three-dimensional floats?
Well, as soon as we went down the street the first night, we felt we had a parade, and we started thinking about 3 dimensions. The Blue Fairy, who's been our grand marshal of the parade all along, actually was 3-dimensional in the parade from the beginning. And this gave us confidence that we could go on building parades in 3 dimensions. When we finally retired the original parade and reopened in 1977, the entire parade was 3-dimensional.
The zone system, the audio control computer, is a system that allows us individual control of 22 zones that the parade passes through. The parade route is divided into these zones, which are about 75 to 80 feet in length. And as a unit enters a zone, it gives us the capability of following the parade down the street and triggering introductions in different areas. For example, the parade will come into the hub and there will be an introduction, a fanfare, an announcement. Then the lights will go out at a key point triggered by the computer. And then as the parade continues to pass around the hub and approaches Main Street, the computer says it's approaching Main Street and triggers another intro, and the Main Street audience then gets an appropriate fanfare and a light cue. And so in this way, we're able to follow the system down the street.
5, 6, 7, and 1.
Just as Troy Barrett has built the structure of the parade, Barnett Ritchie, Senior Parade Director, has built the performing cast, selecting from hundreds who audition and then rehearsing with them until they perform perfectly as one.
This audition is actually a 2-day process, and we have about 700 people coming in both the days, men and women. After this audition process, once we have our cast together, then we start rehearsals, and we'll be rehearsing for 2 weekends here in the back area, and then we have our night rehearsals on the street, and this is where it gets really exciting because then the floats are all working, and we've got the music broadcast into all the zones, and we put the kids in their costumes, and we do several dress rehearsals out there, and that's how we can get our spacing correct and make sure that everything's really working well. And then we open, and we're on.
Well, there you have it, a backstage look at the Main Street Electrical Parade.